Hello everyone, I know it's been a while, but me and my cat, Andy, say hi. Well, we wanted to tell you everything that's been going on, and I know it's been a couple months. Sorry. So last time I made one of these, I was about to go into treatment, and at the hospital that I go to treatment at, they weren't giving, or they didn't have exactly the time to give me the naxitamab, which is the immunotherapy, the treatment that I usually get for cancer, at least nowadays. So they decided to give me a different immunotherapy called dinutuximab, which is something I have to be inpatient for. So I ended up staying in the hospital for around 5 days, just getting that and chemos. And sadly, I couldn't go home, but I had some visitors, and honestly, I had a great time. I mean, there were a couple friends who came to visit me in the hospital and played games with me, and that honestly was just amazing. I actually have a little video about what dinutuximab is and kind of the experience I had, so I'll share that with you in the editing, so here it is.
Hey everyone, Spencer asked me to make a quick video describing his chemos and other medicines and their side effects. So this is Spencer's mom, I'm Janelyn, and so I'm gonna do that really quickly here. We've been in the hospital for a couple of days now for his treatment, and this is his poll, and he's got a lot of things going on here. And this is Spencer.
Hi.
So Spencer gets 2 chemos during his treatment. One of them is a pill, and that one I don't know that he has a whole lot of side effects with that one. It maybe is some little stomach upset. And then he gets another one infused, and that's one of the ones that you see here. It says chemo. He's actually not getting chemo right at this moment. They have something else in that right now, but it runs for an hour and a half, and it is kind of the nasty one. It kind of tears up his gut. The main thing is diarrhea, and some kids who get it, it's very, very severe. Spencer's is not as severe as it could be, but the more he gets, the harder it is. So that's kind of the main side effect with that one. So we don't like that one very much. It's called irinotecan, and they jokingly say it's I run to the can because you're always having to go to the bathroom. So with the chemos, he's getting immunotherapy, and he's had 2 different immunotherapies. They're not exactly the same, but they basically work along the same lines, but their administration is very different. This one is an infusion, and it takes like 12 hours, maybe 10 to 12 hours for him to get it. So that's why he's inpatient in the hospital, and he hasn't had too many side effects with this one this time because he's had a lot of immunotherapy, so his body is kind of used to it. But typically it can cause any kind of flu-like symptoms. So like fever, aches and pains, other pain like nerve pain, because his treatments are targeting the nerves because his cancer is a nerve cancer. So the nervous system. To offset that, he gets this continuous drip of a good old morphine. And we don't love that. It kind of doesn't feel very good. It makes him feel a little bit groggy and loopy, and he isn't able to think as well. He still thinks pretty well. He can crack a good joke and remember things, but it just kind of makes him feel kind of yuck. And it does the opposite of the irinotecan, the chemo, and it like stops you up. So it's kind of this fine dance between the two, trying to figure out how to take care of that. The symptoms will hit later on in the week. Today's Wednesday, so it's day 3. So by Friday and Saturday, he'll be overcoming the effects of the morphine and feeling the effects of the irinotecan. In addition, he'll get Benadryl and Tylenol around the clock, and when he gets Benadryl, he usually needs to take a nap. If it's a half a dose of Benadryl, which is what he's been getting, it's about a 30-minute nap. And if it's a full dose, it's about a 60-minute nap. Beyond that, for nausea, he gets Zofran, around the clock as well, every 6 to 8 hours. And one of the things that he really likes is massage, and they have integrative massage medicine here, and she comes and does some lymphatic drainage massage sometimes, because one of the effects also of the immunotherapy is that he can get a lot of swelling. Usually it's in his face, and his lips swell up and his eyes swell up, and sometimes his whole face. It doesn't usually go into his throat and it doesn't affect his breathing typically. So the massage helps with that, and also it can help with the pain, because the immunotherapy will create pain in his back and in his neck as he holds a lot of tension there. And it's actually from the immunotherapy. We didn't think so for a long time. We thought it was just his posture, but we realized later that it was from the immunotherapy. That's a quick rundown of the basic medications that he gets and what their side effects are. Spencer, do you have anything to add to that?
Not really. Mom did a great job, and she knows a lot more of the terms than I do, so we're gonna get back to the video. So
yeah, and here's Elder Blanchard. I keep calling him Spencer, but for this purpose and for right now, he's Elder Blanchard. All right, thanks. Bye.
I hope it worked out well and that you could actually see the video. But after the treatment, we decided that we'd wait for a couple weeks until we started a trial. Now, this is something called a CAR-T trial. Andy, stop biting me. It's something called a CAR-T trial, and it's at CHOP in Philadelphia. So the whole thing about the trial is they take my T cells in my body, and then they kind of multiply them and then train them in order to target and kill specific cells, specific, I think it's like a specific thing that is on most neuroblastoma cells. So, sorry, very specific, but I went to Philadelphia and got those cells taken, and then I came home, and then I did the dinutuximab treatment. And then after a few more weeks, after my counts started to come back up and I started to feel better, we got on a plane to head back to Philadelphia so that I could receive this trial. And unlike the times where I'd go off for like a couple weeks, maybe a month, this time it was a 6-week process, 1 month and 2 weeks. That I have to spend in Philadelphia. But we got on a plane and ended up in Philadelphia, and I just want to say the city was nice for a while, but the city it is literally called the city of brotherly love. And oh goodness, so as a lot of you know, I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. In fact, I'm a missionary. Isn't that right, Andy? But the community there, the church community, was absolutely amazing. Since I'm a missionary, Andy, nails, claws, I wanted to do missionary work while I was there. And pretty much immediately after I got there, a whole bunch of missionaries contacted me and pretty much gave me the rundown on what's going on with the Philadelphia mission. It was almost like there was a baptism every week, but the people were so nice there, going to certain events, having missionaries over. But the first week I was in Philadelphia, I had scans and like a bone marrow biopsy just to see how my counts are doing. Because if they were too low, I wouldn't be able to get the trial. But the counts were fine. Then the second week was the week I did chemo just to kill some of those specific cells in my body, just to make room for the T cells that they're going to give me the next week after that. And the chemo, of course, it wasn't high dose. It was pretty low. And well, I did feel nauseous sometimes. Everything was fine with that chemo, and sure, I felt pretty tired, but chemo just does that. But anyway, the third week I was there was finally the week I could get the trial. And what's awesome is at the hospital, they have a really good service team, specialists, like people who do massages or Reiki, if you know what that is, yoga specialist. Anyways, though, I had like a massage, and what's good is it's free if you're the patient at the hospital, but it was just awesome to be able to go in and get a massage like before the T cell infusion. But the T cell infusion really only lasted like 30 seconds. And afterwards, they had to monitor me for an hour, and nothing unusual happened. They said that I might get like a fever after 10 days or so, 10 to 14 days. A couple other side effects like nausea or something else. But after I went home, I kind of just resumed my missionary work. I would do lessons with the missionaries. And the days passed, and I met friends and got up to some pretty cool activities, like going to what is it called, Franklin Square, I think, where me and my mom did some mini golf. But again, the people are amazing. I made 3 amazing friends who actually came over to the apartment where we were staying like 2 or 3 times to play games and hang out, and they are so much fun to be around. But I would have to go into the hospital every 2 to 3 to 4 days just so they could take blood and check to see what my T cells are doing and how my body's doing, and everything seemed to be fine. So we were kind of closing in on the last week, and I was kind of feeling like I wanted to be home because in Philadelphia there really aren't that many trees and aren't that many places to really just see nature. And of course, I was missing my little kitty. Isn't that right, Andy? That's her name. But we got to the last week where we did scans, and another bone marrow was scheduled, but we did scans, which took like 2.5 hours. I watched a movie. It was pretty cool. It was called Invincible, about a Philadelphia Eagles player. Now, I'm not a sports guy, but that movie was pretty good. After the scans, we got the results like that evening, and it told us actually that the CAR T trial that I got literally didn't help at all. In fact, a couple new spots like appeared in my like left arm and right arm, I think, and then one like in my leg. Very, very small spots, but still there. So we talked to the doctor the next day just about what to do next, and like he said that like in every single patient that they've done the CAR T trial, the cells have at least grown for the first couple weeks, But with me, they didn't grow at all for the first couple weeks and kind of just petered out, and kind of just left my body, sadly. So that was a complete bust. But aside from that failure, I had a great time just with the people there. And as much as I kind of am sad about the failure, we're getting back to treatment. Not in a week. If I end up posting this today, it's a Sunday, so it won't be tomorrow. It'll be the next week. But we're gonna just do that for a little bit as we figure out more things that we could do. So we're trying to do like a specific diet, like I think it's called a Mediterranean diet, where we limit carbs to like a minimum and cut out other like really sugary foods, and apparently even cheese. I'm not very happy about that one. But we're gonna... What, Andy? You see a bird? We're gonna have to see how that plays out. And well, I'll try to be back soon. Maybe I'll do it after my next treatment, so in like 2.5, 3 weeks. I don't want to be gone for a whole month again, so please just like comment down below to remind me to make more videos. But I'm sorry for the long wait. My missionary work has been going well. Met some awesome people. Philadelphia was both bad news and good news, but I'll see you all later. Andy? Yeah. Well, bye.